not make it so it stays up? You can't make a lot of things stay up. Question number 1 is from your boy Scopes. Who's the hardest puncher you've sparred or fought so far in your journey?
Hardest puncher that I've sparred or fought? So, a few. Hardest puncher that I fought, FAA Jaguar. This was back in 2014 in the Commonwealth Games. Hard puncher, very hard puncher, and he leverages his reach very well. Very long arms. And there's 3 fighters who have the hardest punch that I've sparred so far. That is Deontay Wilder, Anthony Joshua, and Himiahio. Crazy power, all 3 of them.
Well, yeah. If you had to rate them, first to third, who's the hardest puncher?
Maybe number 1, Deontay Wilder. But they're not very frequent and not very often, you know. But he does hold a bomb, and when it touches you, boom, you're gone. And then it's Himiahio, because he's constant with his power. And then there's Anthony Joshua. I think that's what keeps me sharp, is Himiahio and his crazy power. Nick Scott, when he first started Himiahio, he couldn't believe it. He was like, holy heck, you know?
Alright, and the same guy, your boy Scopes, he said, where's your favourite place to eat?
I'm not too sure, but shout out to Satay Noodle House, because that's what we're eating right now. But favorite place to eat, I don't know. Right now, I think we're a bit obsessed with bao buns, eh?
Yeah.
Oh well, I am. I definitely am. I love that stuff. So
it was, but then you homemade them, and then it made me sick.
Yeah, it was good, wasn't it?
The homemade ones.
Yeah, we're good.
Even you said we're sickening.
Yeah, because we had too much. It was too much of a good thing. Yeah, any place for good bao buns. Maybe recommend me a place for good bao buns, and don't say Kiss Kiss. I've tasted their ones.
So how was Kiss Kiss? In your opinion, who are the top 5 current heavyweights in order? That's from Sean Mitzi.
Hard to say.
You?
Oh yeah, but Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua. I have to put Deontay Wilder in there as well. Joe Joyce. And number 5, I don't know. Number 5, I don't know. Maybe I'll put Usyk there. Yeah, Usyk. Yeah, Usyk. Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua, Deontay Wilder, Joe Joyce, Usyk.
Right. The Barber Man Cave. Would you go and just add a fighter to spark a fight, or leave it to the promoters to do their job?
I would 100% do that. Looks like we have the same problem. You're looking for a fight, I'm looking for a fight. What do you say? I miss your hugs. We can solve each other's problems. Oh, except for the legal problems you have, I can't help you with that. It's not in my character to do that, it's not normal for me to do that, but I would. You know, I would. Just to get a fight.
Corey, the comeback kid, said, asks, do you follow a calorie restricted diet, or as a heavyweight, do you just eat as much as you want? And there's your answer.
Yeah, I try to stick to a plan. Like what I should be doing, I should be sticking to a plan. But most of the time it's just like, yeah. But when it's time to focus, then I nail down on my nutrition. But everyday stuff, bro, terrible.
Tours 11 asks what your favorite Disney movie is.
Beauty and the Beast. I grew up on that. I loved that. Belle's my favorite princess.
Well, she's only brunette.
Yeah, she is brunette.
Does she have hazel eyes? She's a cartoon, my gosh.
And that scene where the Beast like fights all the wolves. Oh, bro, I used to love watching that. I used to always like fast forward and rewind that part because I had it on VHS back in the day. Used to rewind and fast forward to that part all the time.
Here, you try this.
No, thank you.
Try it. To you, Ria. Ontario asks, what's your go-to healthy meal?
Mince and rice. Mince and rice is my go-to healthy meal.
And vegetables. Man, this guy, he never wants to eat vegetables.
She doesn't class mixed veggies as vegetables. They're vegetables, man.
Inside the meal, you need a side dish of vegetables as well. Yes, you do. Because you're just like a 5-year-old disguising the vegetables.
Mince and rice.
You don't eat enough vegetables. Just admit it, you don't eat enough vegetables.
Mince.
And mince and rice doesn't even sound healthy. Why don't you say mince with vegetables and rice?
Mince with vegetables and rice.
Mince that has vegetables in it.
And rice. Hey! Leave me alone. Stop judging me.
KXNGYC1 asks, did you go through speech therapy with your son or any others? Yep. Yes, we went to speech therapy with Ezra when he was diagnosed at 2.5. He was non-verbal. That's what got the ball rolling. The doctor noticed he was non-verbal. He's our oldest, so I didn't really notice or know the difference at the time. I just thought he was quiet and wasn't speaking yet. And then it was normal. But yeah, doctor got us set up to see a specialist. 6 months later, he was diagnosed pretty much straight away. And then as soon as he got his diagnosis, I was just right in there, finding out as much as I could, trying to get as much help as we could for Ezra. And yeah, we went to a speech therapist called Small Talk Therapy, which I think is based in Clevedon, out the Maraetai ways, and had a home-based speech therapist come once a fortnight. And we did that for about, 6 months or so? Till he started kindy, or just before he started kindy? 3.5, maybe a bit longer. But we ended up stopping it because it's just too expensive for private therapy. And the wait list for public services is so long. So at least 6 months plus just to get a speech therapist, and even then it's not too frequent. And I don't think you get as much value out of a public speech therapist, no offence to anybody, as a private one. Our speech therapist Teresa, she was awesome. She was really good with Ezra and really gave us a lot of good tips and advice. And that's what got the ball rolling. And because of his OARS funding, he gets a speech therapist through his schooling as part of his funding, and all the other therapists as well.
He did have speech therapy. I think it helped teach us how to help him a bit better. Right now he's talking. Is he still classified as non-verbal? What do you say? Like he's saying words and stuff.
He's starting to put sentences together now.
Yeah.
So the last planning meeting we had, progress meeting we had, the speech therapist just couldn't rave enough about how well he's doing with the core board. Can you grab the core board? So that's the standard core board. Normally we have, his other one is a bit smaller than this, and this basically helps him to point at different words like I want more, and then up here you have different options to pick from, like more food, more apple, whatever. But he's got a smaller one that he uses quite a lot, and he can put about 5 to 6 sentences together. So yeah, now I think the other day we noticed him starting to say, what was he saying to you the other day, babe? He put a sentence together about Rainbow's End, didn't he?
Yeah. Let's go Rainbow's End.
Let's go Rainbow's End. So that's probably the closest so far to a full sentence he's got. Because normally it'd just be go Rainbow's End or let's go. But now he's saying let's go Rainbow's End. Don't know why, we don't even go there much. Been there like once, but he never forgets it. Speech therapy, highly recommend it. If you can go private, I think that's the best option until you are in the public system, especially if your child's young. They give you a lot of tips and advice, visual aids and things like that, really just to help us as parents teach our babies. November Rain 1111 asks, how do you give 100% training and accommodate to your family needs?
I'm kind of just prioritizing what's needed at the moment. At the moment, I can give a lot more time to my family. and stuff because I didn't have a fight lined up.
Okay.
So my attention in the gym isn't really needed right now. But when it's fight time, it's a very selfish time. That's when I have to be kind of all about me, really. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to fully focus on me. It's not like I totally neglect it, but I am a lot more selfish with my recovery time and my gym time.
Yeah, and it's just at that point where now usually his team would try and get him away from the house for at least, depending where he's going. If he's in the States, he goes over like 2 to 3 weeks beforehand. He's totally, totally focused and doesn't have to worry about family or anything. If he's local, he tries to go somewhere else, like stay somewhere else, his coach's house, anywhere else but home, so that he can fully focus, because it is quite demanding and I can be quite demanding. But we understand that's what he needs to focus
Well, no
on.
way.
And I've learnt over the years, obviously, that he needs to focus on his priority. But yeah, as you'll see with his your vlogs, he's not lazy at all. So he finds it quite easy, I think, to give 100% to both. He just does his job as a dad so well, and a fighter as well, and a husband. He's gotten better. Gotten better at that, and he's trying to prioritize.
Hey,
Everything.
this is getting too lovey-dovey. Next
No,
question.
it's not. Yeah. So yeah, you guys will all see that he is very. That's just the type of person he is. I don't think it's much of a sacrifice, to be honest. He knows what his priorities are. He knows what he needs to do. He's good at compartmentalizing, aren't you?
I am.
That's a big word he actually understands.
Yeah. No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
I just say yes.
He understands what it means because he did your personality test, remember?
That's another
Personality test, and he got so obsessed with it.
I loved it.
Victor Singh asked, do you remember your first proper spa, and if so, what happened? Wasn't it against Ahi?
Okay.
She was beating you up.
Yeah. Then my first proper spa. Then my first spa was against my sister. And yeah, she beat me up. I remember this one particular spa that we had. We were sparring on the driveway, because it was back when we didn't have a fence.
Well, this is proper spa, but yeah.
We were sparring in the driveway, and then I just kept on getting tagged, and I didn't like it, so I kind of ran off. And then she chased after me. Then as soon as I turned around, boom! She like smacked me in the nose, and then my nose was bleeding.
That was a regular occurrence back in those days, wasn't it?
Yeah, but time to change now. Hey, and what? These women, man, they want equal rights. Well, that's what they're gonna get: equal rights and lefts.
All right, next question. Chris East asked, when are you fighting again?
I don't know. Hopefully in October.
And then maybe February. It just depends with quarantine and all this crap going on at the
just
moment.
all depends on quarantine. But yeah, we'll see.
Lawrence Tati asks, is Mayweather the greatest boxer of all time with no defeats?
I don't know, because that's a specific question, and I don't know too many other boxers that have retired without defeats, apart from Andre Ward, Joe Calzaghe. I think out of those three, which are the three that I know,
He would be.
Yeah, he would be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Are there any undefeated heavyweights?
Huh?
Are there any undefeated heavyweights that retired?
I don't think so. Well, not to my knowledge, man. I'm not a big boxing historian, so yeah.
Alright, Kope Kolo. Rematch with Parker. I reckon you'll get on top this time.
Oh, thank you. Maybe one day.
Someone wants a photo of you when you were younger. Micah Savia.
Want a photo of me when I was younger?
Yeah.
Alright, here's a photo right here.
Mike Lolly. Who's up and coming in your boxing team?
They all are. I'll just mention two because they're two professionals. They're not really up and coming, they're just not as well known. Banu Vehelu, if you're a boxer, you definitely know this kid.
You always say he's really good.
Really, really good. So good. Really, really good. So Panobe Helu and Titi Motusanga. Both. Really good. Keep an eye out.
Junior William Silla said, will you ever take your family to Tonga to see more of your roots?
Definitely. Yeah, one day. I think it'll be good for all of us.
I hear Rebuttal's the most beautiful island.
Yeah. Sounds nice.
Have you not been to Rebuttal yet?
We'll visit the main island.
Thomas James Brother asks, will you please give me an uplifting Bible scripture this fine Sunday? Don't look at me, this is all you, bro.
Bible scripture? I don't know many Bible verses.
You don't know many scriptures at all.
Oh yes. Genesis 1 verse 1. Indi bininging Indi bininging.
He doesn't know his scriptures, guys.
What's the Nephi one? 3:7.
I will go and do.
I will go and do.
I will go and do the things that the Lord has commanded me.
For I know the Lord
Giveth no commandments until the children of men. So he shall prepare a way for them,
so that
they may accomplish the things which he has commanded them.
Yeah, that one. I like that one.
Thomas James Brother also asked, how did you score Mac Madove in the WSB after the whole situation with your missed flight?
Oh man. Holy hecker. Alright, yeah. Those who don't know, WSB got flown over to India to fight this Russian kid, Makhmadov. He's doing well in the pros right now too. A hard hitter, hard right hand. He fought someone else in the WSB team and knocked him out and shattered his cheekbone. So they wanted me to fight this Makhmadov Russian fella, this Russian giant, as a last minute replacement thing. And so they flew me over. I had some passport issues because usually you're not allowed to fly out of the country if your passport's going to expire like within 6 months, and mine was expiring within 6 months, but they flew me over anyway with warning that I could be stuck in Hong Kong, and that's exactly what happened. I got stuck in Hong Kong. I had no money in my pocket apart from like a couple of dollars, like literally a couple of dollars. So what I done, I changed it to Hong Kong coins. I used their payphone, and then I called Talia, who was my girlfriend at the time. And then I called her. I was just like, oi, I'm stuck in Hong Kong. They're not letting me fly. I don't know what to do. I have no money.
And then it cut.
And yeah.
So I
literally
scramble around and try and figure it out. I called Lolo, your coach at the time.
Yeah, so I literally had like 40 seconds on the phone. And then Talia,
lucky I answered.
I guess you scrambled around. You got a hold of Lolo. Lolo got a hold of Lawrence because he knew where I was. And then he goes, oh, all right. But actually, if you want to know the proper side of his story, go to the Ali channel where he interviews Lolo Hey Muli, and he shares that story very well.
You'll link it in the thing.
Yeah, and so he had to find out who's in Hong Kong that he knows, because he's a very, very well-known trainer. And so he got a hold of Lawrence, who was living there, but they didn't know which airport I was at, which Hong Kong airport I was at. And so and so there was me. I was in the airport and I had my bags. I didn't know what to do. I was young, and outside of the airport they have these little mandarin trees. So that's why I went outside, and then I picked all of these mandarins, because I didn't know what was going to happen. I was been outside and I picked up all of these mandarins. I was just like, man, I'm just going to save these. I don't even know if I can have these. I don't even know if they're real.
Literally that Tom Hanks movie. Is that Tom Hanks? Yeah.
Like an hour later, maybe just over an hour, I see this brown guy walking through the airport like this, because he had an iPad. And then he was walking around like this. And then he got to me, and then he's like, "You junior?" And then, and then from then I was like, "Hallelujah!" I was like, "Oh my gosh, what the heck happened?" And then he goes, "Oh, come with me."
You don't know who that
Well,
guy
said
could have
that
been.
Nah, but thank goodness I
You would have gone
recognized
with
his face
anyone
before.
at that time.
Yeah, yeah, and then I had to stay with his family for a couple of days. So good. And then he showed me around the town. I was sleeping in his living room. Man, it was so cool. Then we got my passport sorted. And then I got to India. Had like.
You'd think he'd be more organised, but he's not. So bad. It wasn't for me.
So I got to India and was fighting 6 hours after. I mean, after I landed. So I landed, got to my hotel, just kind of had a little rest, like not even asleep. And then it was basically time to go warm up. And then I'm at the back, and then I'm kind of feeling a little bit lightheaded because
what's it called?
like, you know, I'm still a little bit jet lagged and everything. Then I had to fight, and then I just played it very smart on that fight, very, very smart. I moved away from his right hand because he had a huge right hand, so I stayed away from it and just moved around and boxed him and confused him for the 5 rounds, and I won the fight. And that's it. I'm the man, really. I'm the man.
The whole team.
I'm the man.
Your team is what keeps you going. Gosh, I'm the one that keeps
You're
you
the
going.
man.
Awesome.
You're a man.
Nice to put up with you. Oh, that's what you like, eh?
Hey! Not on camera.
No! Man, you ate most of it. Leave me some. I'm not carrying. I'm eating for 2. You eat for like 20.
I'm eating for 8.
Oh gosh.
My 8-pack. Oh!
Roma Crichton asked, what's the #1 tip you would give to amateur boxers?
Fight. Number 1 tip to amateur boxers: fight. Fight, fight, fight. You learn. Doesn't matter if you win or lose, just fight.
How many fights did you have in amateurs?
Not many, if any.
Right. How many fights did you have? Like 50?
Like 30?
Edams. What's some tips on dealing with the mental side of boxing?
Damn. Don't let a win go to your head, and don't let a loss get to your heart. Something like that.
Stylebended asks, not Stylebender, Stylebended. When is your next fight, and have you ever tried training MMA?
Never tried MMA.
You don't want to?
Maybe one day, but right now, 100% on boxing.
They say you got tree trunks
I do have 3 chunks.
for legs.
3 of them.
Oh, that's... Can you not make it so it stays up? You can't make a lot of things stay up.
You know that's a
You
lie.
mean Viagra?
Shut up! I've never had that problem. Shut up! I just need a hot and white.
No, gross. The Provise Project.
Improvise, my man!
What changes did you make from going full-time work to full-time boxing? Why don't you explain it?
So I was
you started
working-
boxing. I mean, you turned pro.
Yeah, so
February 2016.
Yep.
And then, I think it was by August 2016.
I actually talked about this in the Improvise podcast that we done. That was the main crossroads for me. It was either becoming a truck driver, because I could see myself doing that, because that's a dream job for me. Because I don't mind driving, and I like to eat. So I'll be driving from bakery to bakery, man, on every delivery. I would love that. And I knew that I would love that, so I was just like, ooh, if I take up this opportunity, I don't think I'm going to come back. So that's what made me go, nah. I've invested a lot of time into boxing. Let's go with boxing.
Yep,
And then
discuss it with me. I was like, yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, so ever since I made full-time boxing, I made sure that I train a lot more. Try to get my diet under control.
We moved back home to my parents' house.
Yeah, we had to move back to her house, her parents' house, and then move into my parents' house, just to try and save money where we could.
2 young kids, I'll stay at home mom. Dana Ekiri Kino said, your wife is hilarious.
Oh, well, she's wrong.
Thanks. I know I am. No, thanks. Clinton Ansell said, why are the poor brothers dodging you?
Hey, quit dodging me, eh? Poor brothers.
Paul Bowl said, what's your motivation on someone who wants to be a boxer?
Go for it. Go for it. If it's for you, you will stay because you will want to be there. If you're good at it, definitely stay. Push yourself to stay. But yeah, it's like, you know, if you want to do it, you will do it. You'll find a way to do it.
Simone Moala asks, what age do you reckon to start training boxing for my kids?
Oh, whenever for your kids. Yeah, I think the earlier the better. So they get used to the environment, you know. But sometimes when you start them off too early, they lose the passion early as well. Because I know some kids who like kind of start when they're really young, and then when they get to like the late teenagers and they just don't want it anymore, and then they leave.
Shy Cries asks, best conditioning for boxing?
Like if I was to choose one thing to do in training, sparring. It's the best because that's basically what you're gonna do, which is fighting. So you want something as close to that as possible. So yes, sparring. If you're gonna take it seriously, if you're gonna do boxing seriously, make sure you get some good sparring in.
And Matai Horsey asks, how much is...
Wait, who?
Matai Horsey.
Okay.
What does it mean?
No,
What is that?
it just sounds like something else.
How much liters of water do you drink a day?
Oh, I try to drink
Not
like
much.
4. No, I try and drink 4.
Yeah, and you only drink like 1.
No.
Lately.
No, what's my new?
And no, not fizzy and not blooming orange juice.
Ah,
It's meant to be for me.
then just like 2 cups. Nah.
Extra water,
Like-
H2O.
Yeah. Maybe 4 liters.
At Mark's Meals asks, Manager Mark,
Manager Mark, okay.
do you eat well when you're in camp overseas? You should know that.
Lucky for me, I have a personal chef that comes with us. His name is Mark.
Is this manager?
Yeah, so whenever we go overseas, he comes with us because he's my manager, but it's awesome too because he's a chef. Oh, well, no, I can't say he's a chef because I don't think he's been, but
He's
is.
not an
He is
actual chef,
great
but-
at cooking.
Yeah.
He's the man at cooking. Love it. Love it.
So one there, Brave asks, does training at CKB ever make you feel like trying another art form, or do you occasionally dabble?
I don't dabble, but I definitely do want to try out wrestling and jiu-jitsu. Those look amazing. Like those there, those two are the ones that I really want to try. But I don't want to because I don't want to get injured from doing something that's not including my sport. You know, if I injure my hand in boxing, then you know that's fine because that's what I'm supposed to be doing. You know, I'm supposed to be punching.
Well, and your promotional
But if
agreement
I
says
yeah.
you're not allowed to.
But if I somehow ruin my back and it was through wrestling, you know, I'm gonna be like you know, I'm gonna be disappointed in myself because I ruined my chances in boxing doing something that really doesn't involve boxing. So yeah, but
So that could
if
get
it was
his
up-
contract cancelled, basically.
yeah,
Yes,
kind
it
of, yeah.
could. Yeah.
But yeah,
promotional
but yeah, I definitely do want to try out wrestling and jiu-jitsu after my career is through.
side. What about karate?
Don't get me
Kata?
started, man.
What about kata in the Olympics?
Don't get me started on karate, bro. Don't get me started on. Don't get me
Hey,
started
no.
on the Olympic sports that really shouldn't be in
What
the
about
Olympic
3-on-3
sports.
basketball?
Gee, don't get me started, bro.
What about golf? Rich people sports. That's the reason they're in it, is because it's rich people.
If
Give
the-
money.
if an Olympic medal is not the pinnacle of your sport, then that sport does not deserve to be at the Olympics.
So basically only boxing.
No, it's just like, you know, just
What about the
If it's not
professional
the
NBA
pinnacle-
players?
Hell no! if it's not the pinnacle of your sport, that
Here
sport
we
shouldn't
go.
be in the
This
Olympics.
is what I have to
Olympic
every time we watch
gold.
the Olympics at the moment.
Olympic gold to the boxers. Oh, it's something else, man.
And wrestlers.
It's got
And
yeah,
fighting
boxing,
games.
wrestlers, field and track athletes. Like the Olympic gold is a treasure to us. But then you got people like
Golfers that make
yeah,
millions,
golfers, make-
NBA.
NBA. It's not a big deal for them. Like that's a huge deal for us and for those where it is the pinnacle of their sport. But if it's not the pinnacle of your sport, gee, gap it. Don't get me started, Talia.
Go and beat the Olympic Committee out there.
I'll beat you up.
You can't beat me up. Uncle Fritter said, any chance of getting over to the UK and smashing someone like Gorman?
Gorman? Yeah. Hopefully one day. Soon. Hopefully. Nathan Gorman.
Just this bloody COVID borders and everything else. Bye, RNZ. What was your first physical altercation?
My first physical altercation. My
It was
first
me,
fight.
yeah, me.
So my first physical altercation, which is my first and only fight, was when I was younger in primary school, probably called a normal school. I was eating lunch with my friends. I was probably 9 years old, and these boys threw a yogurt at my mate, and yeah, kind of threw it at him. I picked up the yogurt, I threw it back, and then when it was time to put our lunches away, they put their lunches away and came back and attacked me. And yeah, there were two of them. They got me on the ground. They were kind of
Name
like
and shame.
stomping me. Nah, I can't
Name
remember
and
their name.
shame, that we're scared of you now.
Yeah, they started stomping me, and then I stood up and I grabbed one by the collar and I threw him against the wall, and I didn't know what to do because I didn't know how to fight. I was just like, crap, what do I do now? I'm crying the whole time. And then his mate attacked me from the side, and then the fight got broken up. And then I went back and I was crying, and then the school called my mum, and then my mum picked me up and we went to McDonald's.
And he also, the same person actually asked also, would you ever skydive?
I think to skydive you have to be under 100 kgs,
We can't do a lot of things because
which is a no-go for me.
tandem swing, those big bungee swings. We won't be able to do that. It'll break and we'd die.
We're just built different.
You're built different. Gosh, think about me. The only reason I'm built different is because I got a bloody 11-pound baby in me. Koala FN. What's your best punch?
My best punch? My jab. My jab is my best punch. Break that jab. He's a horse! He's a horse!
Then can you
Strongest punch?
Can you,
Right.
Can you use it more then? Can you use your jab? What,
Next question.
Quiet in the cheap seats.
Next question.
Which one would you do, Fear Factor or Survivor? That's Monty, Samoan Savage.
Oh, Fear Factor or Fear Factor? I would do Fear Factor. Survivor? Nah, I am not a survivor. I am not a survivor type of guy. I don't want to be camping out on the bush. I don't want to be digging holes so I can go to all the stuff that I am not
He's a
doing.
Dancing with the Stars type of guy.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
I'm a.
Go back to your youth days when you used to perform in every bloody road show. Do skits
Yeah.
and make up little songs.
Yeah, take it out. Take it out. You best of that. Nah, not my thing. Fear Factor I can do because it's like challenges and stuff. It's yeah.
Celebrity Treasure Island.
Nah.
You could do that. It's just a whole bunch of physical challenges.
But did I get picked for that? Did I get picked for that? I didn't.
Ringo to the max. Who wins out of you or David? Who's David?
Which David?
Which David?
They have a tour.
Probably him,
Tour,
for
yeah, tour will waste me, G.
TFL Design said, is Lou DeBella still promoting you? If so, could you give us an insight into what a boxer's contract looks like? Oh crap.
Oh, that's a detailed question.
So it's all different, I think.
Yeah, it's all different. To be honest, I can't answer this very well, so
It's very personalised to each boxer.
Yeah.
His manager, Mark, has done well to negotiate.
Yeah, so I'll pass that on to my manager, who passes it on to the lawyers, and then they kind of tell me
What looks good.
what's the lowdown, what looks good, what doesn't look good, what needs to be amended, changed, and then
Yuck.
Coconutty.
Peanut butter's where it's at. Next question. What's one thing no one knows about you? That no one knows about you.
What's that?
At your mama. Seriously, what's one thing no one knows about you?
Who cares? No one asks it.
People want to know.
Who wants to know?
Everyone.
No one asked that question.
I don't care. Answer the question. No, you said it says your mama on there. I'm gonna say this because he never ever will admit it.
What?
And you never want to say it for some reason, but I think it would help in your situation.
What?
You have a stutter.
Oh yeah.
He's got a stutter, guys.
I stutter.
So if it takes ages to answer something, or he's rubbing his nose, he has little like quirks that he does when he's trying to answer.
If you stutter, you know what that looks like.
Yeah.
I know.
But his isn't obvious at all.
Yeah, but why it's not obvious? Because people don't really know. But if you stutter yourself, you can see another person.
Yeah. Like Joe Biden, he's a big stutterer. His is obvious.
I don't watch him.
You were just talking about him yesterday, and you were showing me his videos.
That's funny.
But his is obvious. But yeah, he's a stutterer.
But
I
if you're
always
around
tell
me,
him, like you struggled to remember that time you were over in England, you were doing a promotional video,
yeah.
and you had to
Here's
turn
the
to the
thing.
camera and say your name.
Here's the thing. If people want to work with me, I do well when it's freestyle. If I get told what I have to say and I have to say it, 9 times out of 10, I'm not going to say it, and it's not going to come out of my mouth because I don't know. It just triggers anxiety in me, and I can't get that word out. And there are particular words that get stuck in my throat, and I can't edit it out. But yeah, I guess that is something that people don't know about me.
I've always told him to tell people because I feel like it will make things easier for him.
Yeah.
Because he gets very anxious.
Yeah, I do get very
But
anxious.
his public speaking's got a lot better. Like, he's really good at it now. It's like not even bad. But when he first started this whole thing and how he had to get in front of the cameras and whatnot and be interviewed, he'd get really, really stressed out about it. Like, just tell them beforehand that you stutter. So, like, you address the elephant in the room. And in my opinion, I think you'd be less likely to stutter if, rather than trying to hide it, which I think is why can heighten the stuttering more, maybe.
I don't think I'd try hide. Oh yeah, I suppose that is what I'm
Yeah, you
saying.
want it like, you don't
I just
want to.
don't. Yeah, I just don't acknowledge it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't acknowledge it because I can always try and. Well, it's just. I think that's just my personality. I always just try and work around things.
And he's stubborn too.
Yeah, that's me. I just want to work around things. Oh yeah, there's something
he
that.
stutters. No one knows about that.
Yeah, not many people know about that.
Eden said tips on mentally preparing for a fight.
Go to as many fights as you can before your fight.
Your opponent?
If this is your first fight, try and get used to the environment. If you haven't fought before and you know that you're gonna fight, go and watch a fight night. Have a feel of what the energy is like. If you can, get to the back so that you can see the fighters prepare, and so you can study their faces and see what emotions they are going through. Just so when you're there, everything is not totally new, Yeah, and that's one thing. I think I might actually do a video on that later on.
Excuse me? Didn't I suggest to do stuff like that? And you shut me down?
I did.
But then when random people on Facebook and that, or on YouTube suggests it, you're like, oh yeah, I'll do it now.
Yep.
Alright, La Faelelangi. Sorry if I get it wrong. It's my Maori English. I'm more white than anything. Thoughts on mental health. How do you deal with the highs and lows of being a pro boxer?
Try and keep away from the negativity as much as you can. As much as you can.
Blood Sanklai. I don't even know. How do you utilize reaching range as a taller fighter?
You just have to make a conscious decision and be aware. Just keep everything here. There's a lot of fighters, taller fighters, that like their fighters come in close because their guards are either here or they're not keeping them out with their jab. Make sure that when you're a taller fighter to utilize that as best as you can, and that is to keep them as far away from you as possible. I might actually do a video on this.
Yes, I was going to say.
That's another video.
Yeah, tips and tricks. Listen to your wife. Your wife's always right. Yeah, G or YGZNN32. How was it fighting? Like were you scared or not?
You know, a bit of fear is always there. You just gotta kind of work through it, you know?
You have to embrace it, like you said, the mental coach. Yeah,
embrace it.
And your breathing coach.
Yeah, my breathing coach actually. Yeah, when he said, accept those feelings. Don't try and block it out because for sure they're there. Ignoring them isn't going to make them go away, but embracing them and accepting them will help.
Side to Bear said, smoke some weed. Where?
What?
Smoke some weed. Where? Is your tongue go?
Never had it. Never had it.
But what about that one time you had those marijuana brownies?
Who?
Do you not?
What? Who?
And why I say? Did you not even know the difference on the taste?
You're kidding me.
Do you not remember we had brownies with the tote crew?
No.
We were down there.
Not me. Did I have it?
We all had it.
When?
But I've got a good palate, I can taste the difference. It's just like, well, when we were hanging out between 2009, 2011, around that time sometime.
Did I have some marijuana brownies? Full crap.
That's true.
Full
Ask
crap.
Arthur them.
Did I have them?
Yes, we all have brownies.
Did you have them by choice?
Because you're like a pig. I didn't know it was it until after, but you can't tell the difference. You just scoff anything in your mouth.
I don't believe that.
Ask the tote crew.
I don't believe that.
Awesome.
I don't
Anyone
believe
in the
that
tote crew
at
are
all.
listening? Can you vouch for that?
I don't believe that at all. You're kidding me. I've had marijuana
He
brownies.
thinks he's under it.
Bull crap. I haven't. Hey, we have a
I
name.
guess you'll never know now. You don't want to believe me.
Shut up. Oh man. I'm proud of myself. I pride myself on this crap.
You know how people think in so many different ways. You got all lethargic and fell asleep.
No, that doesn't sound like me.
It is
Bull
you.
crap,
How
no.
do you even know how you respond?
Next question.
Oh god.
I don't like that. You're full of crap, eh?
What are you so angry for? Who the hell would the toaster would make marijuana brownies? I mean, I wouldn't put it past cruising a lot, but...
Yeah, exactly.
Final question is KXNGYC1. I feel like we've had a question from him before. But he said, hey bro, this is not boxing related, but does Ezra go to mainstream school?
He does not.
Nope.
Ezra doesn't go to mainstream school.
And I'm actually quite happy about that.
100% happy about that. Depending on where your kid's level is at.
So he's got OARS funding. And so his whole process to apply for OARS funding before he turned 5. He managed to get it right in time, basically. And it's very hard to get in as it is. But because of that OARS funding, he's able to go to special school and as a result he's in a satellite class. Yeah, so he's not mainstream, but with Oars funding we always have the option to transition him to mainstream if we feel he's ready and able to. And so that's a really good thing. I highly recommend Oars funding. As part of my job, I'm a learning support worker, so I help kids on the spectrum or kids with behavioural issues to, in like toddler age groups that are struggling in kindergarten and that have got an autism diagnosis or some kind of diagnosis, ADHD, whatever it may be, behavioural issues. I work one-on-one with them. I go around to different kindies through the association, and I work one-on-one with them, and I can't rave highly enough about special schools and getting that funding and that help if children are eligible. And unfortunately a lot of kids miss out even though they do need it and they are eligible. There's just, if you can talk, unfortunately they think you're competent enough to handle mainstream. Even if you got the worst behaviours ever, the hardest behaviours to deal with, if you can follow instructions, if you can talk, if you're toilet trained, if you're able to do a lot of things, if your comprehension's good, then you won't get it. And that's one thing that's really hard to deal with when you see your babies struggling and they miss out on that stuff. But yes, he's not at mainstream, he's at a special school, and honestly it's the best thing ever. 7 kids in one class, 3 teachers or 1 teacher, 2 teacher aides. So they have a lot of one-on-one support. They've got a team around them of therapists, speech, physical therapists, physios, occupational therapists and everything to work on their child's holistic approach. So 100% recommend special schools if your child can get it. And once again, you can always transition them to mainstream if they are able and if they are ready to, if you feel they're ready. And you have the funding until you're 21. So shout out to the special schools and all the amazing teachers and therapists that help our babies thrive. Because yeah, it's been an awesome journey for us since our baby started school. What, 2 years ago now almost? Yeah, 2 years ago. Anything to add?
We're done. Thank you guys so much. Yeah, I think going forward I want to be vlogging every week. So there's going to be a vlog every week. And then probably just an added extra video every now and then, you know?
Oh yeah, that's what I suggested.
Yeah, you did suggest that, Sally.
I said to keep up your weekly vlogs.
You did.
I did.
You did.
And then I said to add in different videos here and there each week. I've got your tips for the week, tricks for the week, boxing tips, whatever, cooking video, karaoke. You never know, you might see us do more duets in the future.
What a treat.
What a treat. Sign us up.
Hemi will like that. He loves my singing. Hemi will hear. Anyway, thank you guys so much for the questions. More videos, different stuff coming out soon.
This has been quite good. The most time we've spent together in ages.
I know. It's been fun, eh?
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for the question. Thank you to my lovely assistant, Talia Farr.
That's your assistant, bro. Equal rights.
Equal right and left. Remember that?
Yeah. And that's what you get all the time. And that's what keeps you sharp.
I know.
Yep.
This is the end of my chocolate. This is the end of the video.
He's a pig.
Thank yous.
Bye.